Martins.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What is happening? What is happening? It is yours truly, MC Sabiboy, the host, and the co-host and co-captain, Dwayne P. Frank. Welcome
What's
to
going
another
on? What's going
episode
on?
of Grassroot Chats, people. Episode 7. Episode 7 and counting, counting. We're
All right.
excited. We're excited. How you doing, man? How's your week been?
Hey, bro. I'm fighting, bro. I'm fighting. Had my COVID vaccine yesterday. Not been too strong. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
Ooh.
grassroots has got to be done. It's got to be done. So I'm here still.
That is the way forward, man. Don't worry, you get better, you get better. He has his effect on different people in different ways. So yeah, you'll be fine. At least you're protected. Yeah, half protected till you get the next one. Half protected.
Exactly. Got to wait till May, and then yeah, next one, and then hopefully I'm all good.
All good, man. All good, man. Let's jump straight into it. You know how I like to do. You know how I like to do. UFC 259. UFC 259. First of all, it had very different funny outcomes in the sense that a lot of the fights, apart from one, just went in a very different way. I'll stick to the main card. So if we go from the title shots, pretty much, so we'll start with Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling.
Hmm.
Now, I'm gonna just state the obvious here. If not for the disqualification, Aljamain Sterling was done.
100%.
So I don't understand. Is it that some of these fighters, when they get to this particular point, when they get to the main point, I've been working so hard all my years, does the occasion get the best out of them? Because Aljamain looked shocking on the night. It looked like he was trying to force everything, or he just made Peter Yan look like Peter Yan was a way classier fighter than he was. What do you think
Hmm.
went wrong with Aljamain Sterling?
I think Algerne Sterling, he tried too hard, too fast. He came out in that first round all guns blazing. It was almost like his plan was all about volume, 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 volume. Okay, I almost felt like Aljamain Sterling was saying, you know what? I know this is going 5 rounds. I know this is going to decision. So I've got to get the volume, volume, volume. He gassed himself out. By halfway through the third round, he was done out here. He was done. Petian with a couple of nice shots, man. It was like he was a class above, and he got lucky with the low blow. It's as simple as that.
Everybody was talking about Aljamain's takedown tactics, his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling. He had 5 attempts and none of them were actually successful. He actually tripped himself trying to take Peter Yan down a lot of
Yep.
times.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
from the way he started that first round, what I assume is that Peter Yan never starts strong. He takes his time.
Mm,
So
exactly.
I'm assuming the tactics was, attack this guy and then let him get tired and hopefully knock him out. But in doing that, he tired himself out.
Yep. Exactly. And it completely backfired. And he got that get out clause in regards to actually having a title now. They're going to fight again. Well, we hope they fight again. And I think Petian will do him well
The
again.
thing, the thing though, Peter Yan says his corner advised him that he could take the knee. I think that,
Yes.
but that is first of all, everybody knows that rule is there. You can't knee a man to his face when he's on the ground.
Mm.
So where did they think they got that advice from? That was very poor, and for a fight that you probably would have won comfortably, because I felt he would have knocked him out either in that round or the
Or
next round.
finished him. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but where do you think his corner got that daft advice from?
Bros, that was from Russia with love, man. They weren't playing games. I don't understand what they were thinking. I was like, you've won this. This is over. Aljamain Sterling, you're done out here. All you've got to do is just finish this round. My guy's gassed. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. You either knock him out in the fifth or you walk away with a simple points victory. I don't know where that advice came from. They regret it like massively. Of course they do. But if there's any justice, there'll be a rematch, and Petty Yang will deal with him.
So you don't see Algerman learning from his mistakes and improving his method or tactics.
I don't think there's well, first things first, we don't know when a rematch might be, so we've got to think about time period. But how much time does one need to evolve his game? Um, I mean, I even saw him the other day on Instagram with one of his boys, and his boys was trying to get him to say, I'm the new champion, and even then You could tell the way that he even said it, he didn't even believe it in himself. And I don't think he has that belief that he can actually beat Petr Yan.
Well, you could say he was upset of how it came down. Not that he doesn't have the belief. He just, but because before the fight, he had a lot of belief. He told him he was going to break him, was going to send him back to Russia and all that stuff. So
But
I
they
don't,
all say that. They all say that. You have to.
I don't think belief is the problem. I think he's probably just not happy because he knows he pretty much lost that fight, if not for
Mm,
the disqualification. But we'll see what
100%.
happens. The story out there is that they'll try and make the fight as soon as possible, give Peter Yan
Mm,
a chance, and you never know what could happen. And then we move up to the co-event, which is Anderson versus Nunes. Anderson versus. So first of all, at this point, you should never laugh at a fighter that takes a chance to go into the ring. But this was funny, man. This was funny. She got stunned. I mean, when Nunes caught her with the right hand, she looked like she didn't know where she was. She was like, "Whoa, mommy, mommy." She looked stunned. So my question
oh
is
man.
simple, and I know we had this conversation off air, but it's a very simple thing. Nobody in that division is going to beat Nunes.
No.
As far as I'm concerned, nobody in both her divisions, which is bantamweight and featherweight, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody's going to beat her in 135, and nobody's going to beat her in 145.
Nope.
Personally, I think, and I know this sounds crazy, and people think, what's this guy saying? She should either join the men's category, she should join the male category. I kid you because I'm sure
oh.
that I bet you in that bantamweight she could probably beat out Jermain Sterling. You never know. You get she could join the men's guy, or I feel for once they should either do a Bellator versus UFC, or they should give her a big money fight and let her go in a boxing fight against the likes of Clarissa Shields or Katie Taylor. What do you think?
Right. So in regards to going in against the men, I think that's a no. That's a no-no. I personally believe anyone who is ranked, even beyond being ranked, if you don't beat Amanda Nunes, you need to just retire. It's as simple as that. Um, we have to think about the male and female strength. It will come into play. Um, if one of them men give her one lash, she'll feel the power. She'll be no, no, no. We don't want to see that. UFC versus Bellator. This is risky. This is risky. I'm not sure who their champions are right now, but UFC is supposed to be premier standard. It's supposed to be number one. Could you imagine the repercussions if Nunes, UFC's premier standard, the GOAT, shall we call her, loses to Bellator? Oh my. No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no.
but that's the whole
It's
point,
too
though.
risky.
That's the whole point. If you're the GOAT and you're the best, and you say you're the best in the world, and
Mm,
as you say, UFC is ranked higher and classed higher than Bellator, at least so
mm.
you believe. That means you should be willing to take the risk. Fight the champion of another outfit and see what happens. Because at the moment, for Nunes, the honest truth is she will get options because she's in two different weight categories. So at some point,
Mm.
be a contender for one of the categories. But ideally, unless she fights Valentina, which she has already beaten twice, even if I feel the second one was really close. However, if there's nobody in your outfit to fight, they should do. I think she deserves a big money fight, either in boxing or cross platforms. So if you're the go to defend it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So I don't know who is the champion of Bellator. I remember before it used to be the likes of Cyborg. If it is, we don't need to see that again. So there's no point. The Clarissa Shields situation, is Amanda Nunes' boxing game good enough? I don't know if it's on the same levels as Clarissa at all. Now, we've also heard the fact that Clarissa wants to cross over as well and try her hand at MMA. I would like to see that because I'm telling you for free, Amanda Nunes, I'm going to put a lot of money on you and you're going to make me a very rich man. So, in regards to that, either way, it don't work. It just doesn't work, in my opinion.
Well, there's only one way to find out if her boxing is good enough. I mean, I think it is. She has a good stand-up game. She has a good wrestling game. She can pretty much take you out in any way, shape, or form. But I feel something has to be done. I respect her a lot for keeping that hunger up, not you know giving it up or being comfortable as a champion, like really. But she's going out there and she's destroying people. So hats off to Amanda Nunes. And
For
now,
the record, for the record, I blame Dana White for putting Anderson in that ring. He is a punk, right? There was no need to do that. We all knew that she wasn't on the same level as Nunes. How dare you, Dana White,
she
do that
was
to a woman?
she was number one.
Mentally,
She was number one contender. She asked for the fight and she was given.
mentally, she was not ready. I even messaged you in the early hours of the morning. I said to you, this is going to be a massacre. I was even saying, I was watching the fight and she was putting the triangle and armbar. And I was pleading at the TV. I was like, stop the fight. You know, when you go high pitch and you're so sad when something's happening, that's what I was doing. I was there. I was like, stop the fight. Come on. What are we doing here? It was a lot, man.
Well, that's the difference in class and form right there. And then we go
100.
to and then we go to the main event. Now, first of all, congratulations to Jan Blahovich for winning. He kept his belt. However,
Yeah.
there are two things I don't agree with that fight. One, I don't agree with the fact that people said Izzy was dominated because I don't think he was.
Hmm.
Um, I said two things or three things. Second thing is the fight was quite. It wasn't as exciting because it was so cautious from both fighters.
Hmm.
Izzy was clearly worried about the Polish power. Um, Jan was worried about speed and possibly being caught. And
Yeah.
the thing I don't agree with is I don't understand takedowns should not be scored the same as knockdowns. That's a ridiculous scoring system because
Mm-mm.
sometimes you take a man down and you control it, but you're not really doing anything. You're controlling the
Yeah.
fight because yeah, you're heavier, your stuff. And in the fourth round, that's exactly what happened. Jan took him
Mm.
down, but he wasn't doing anything. In the fifth round, yes,
Yeah.
towards the end, he got a couple of shots in, and yes,
Yes.
I would say he won that round. But knockdowns and takedowns should and sorry, knockdowns and takedowns should never ever be scored the same way. Personally, I think that fight, to me, and this is just my scorecard. Obviously, people will score it differently. I would give that fight a draw because I think both of them were.
Wow.
Yep, I would give the fight a draw. If but based on the scoring, obviously takedowns and stuff, you know, Jan won it. But what do you think about the fight?
Well, first and foremost, the fight, I feel the way it was the way it was because Adesanya made it the way it was. Adesanya is not easy to hit. That's the first thing. Um, and there were 100% more significant strikes from Blahovich. There were, as far as things were concerned. Now, in that fourth round, 100% I agree with you. He took him down. He just controlled him on the floor, 15, 20 pounds heavier. Adesanya was never going to get him off. And it's funny because I was watching the fifth round and I said, if he takes him down again, the fight's over. It's as simple as that. And you're right, he did some damage. Um, and why was it the way it was? They were cautious because they both had too much respect for each other. As you just said, the Polish power is immense. Starbender, well, can we call him Starbender anymore? Can we call him that now
Well,
after you lose?
of course, he's the style bender.
Uh,
He's still the last style bender. Let's be honest. When you look at that fight, compare if you compare to a lot of fights and how some people have lost, I can bet you in the next couple of years that's a fight you probably will not remember. I mean, it was it wasn't as exciting as we all thought it would be. And when I mean
mm,
exciting, I'm not saying oh everybody expected Stylebender to win. I was expecting explosive stuff from both of them.
mm,
It was very cautious, textbook. And even in the fifth round, the commentators were saying, oh, all Jan has to do if he wants to be sure, because when that fifth round started, Adesanya was catching him and catching and catching him, and then
yes,
and
yeah,
then
because
and,
Blahovich was slowing down.
yeah, and then they go, oh, he needs he what he needs is to take him down, attempt to take down and to keep him down there. So
Mm,
that just tells me, yes, it's a tactic. It's a way of trying to get away from a fight, but they're pretty sure that once you get a takedown, it scores. I mean, it goes 10-8 immediately, which I just feel nah. It is because, in my opinion, you're making obviously the guys that are out there that are wrestlers. When Khabib takes you down,
mm.
he doesn't just control; he dominates. When
He mauls you.
when
He mauls you.
when Usman takes you down, he doesn't just he dominates.
You're
And
done.
loads of other players, but I didn't see that from Jan, so I don't understand why it was scored so highly. However,
Saw it to a certain extent in the fifth round, not necessarily the fourth round. The fourth round he just laid on him.
yeah, but the fifth round, it was the last 10 seconds, and easy could have been. Adesanya would probably go, yeah, I'll give him a couple of shots. The fight is over, anyways, but you never know. Now, the question is obviously, Adesanya is going to go down to 185
Mm-hmm.
and going to try and maintain his belt. Um, Jan is going to defend his belt. Now, why? So, the big super fight between Adesanya and Jones, was that simply because they were both undefeated? Or just because of the beef? Because I don't understand why people are saying it should be off now.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. However, the I mean, Adesanya will admit it himself. You know, he still has to improve his game. He knows that. You know, my worry is if he fights someone like Jones, who arguably is a better wrestler than Blahovich, we could just see them on the ground for all 5 rounds. I don't even think um, Jones's game will be let's submit him, let's knock him out. I think he'll put him on the ground, and I think he'll just beat him up on the ground, and he will take all the energy from Adesanya. And it would be, and to be honest with you, it's one of those fights I probably wouldn't want to watch. I think it'd be very, very boring. The same way Mayweather versus Pacquiao was boring. Um, you know, I think Adesanya will be nullified the same way Pacquiao was nullified. So I probably wouldn't even watch it. I'll probably wake up in the morning and just see decision 5 rounds. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but we don't know that till it happens, though. The question here is, why shouldn't it happen? If I mean, if the beef is there, they're still very high class fighters. Yes, if John Jones does what he does, as you have just described, that's all good. But the fight shouldn't be off, though. I mean,
Well,
that's why they're fighters. They have beef for each other, they dislike each other. Let them trash it out in the ring.
well, the thing is, Jones obviously has his own shit that he needs to be dealing with. It looks like he's gonna it annoys me. The thing is, like, same way Adesanya, I wanted him to win because you wanted to see that super fight with Jones. But at the same time, I didn't want him to win because I don't like the way that he just skipped and jumped the whole entire roster.
But
And
that's not his fault. That happens in the UFC
no,
all
it's
the
not his
time.
fault.
It
It's
happens in
not his fault.
the
It's not his
UFC.
fault.
They always want a super fight. The same way
Yeah,
TJ Dillashaw is going to come back, and he's going to fight probably Corey Sandhagen or whoever. And
yeah.
if he beats Corey, who is the second contender, he'll probably get a shot at the title.
Yeah. I mean, Jones has got his own stuff he's got to sort out in the heavyweight division with likes of Miocic and Stipe and Francis and Garnell. Lord help him. Boy, I kind of want to see him against Ngannou. I want to see how he will deal with that weight because it will be a similar thing, in my opinion, with the whole Blahovic and
Yeah, but have you seen John
Sanya.
Jones? Have you seen John Jones recently?
Yeah, he's getting bigger. He is
The
getting
man,
bigger,
the man,
but
the man
boy,
is bulked. He's bulked up. So he
bro,
might.
he's getting bigger. He's getting bigger. I like what he's doing, but it, I'm very intrigued to see where it's going to slow his game down. What he's doing, all the bulking, whilst Ngannou is a natural superpower. Um, I don't want to see him against Stipe, to be honest with you. I've got a feeling he'll beat Stipe. I don't know if he'll beat Ngannou though. So in regards to Jones, he's got his own shit that he needs to be dealing with before he even thinks about Adesanya. How old is Jones now? This is the problem. The problem that we
30,
have is
33,
is
34.
time. 33, 34. So it's time. You know, we, for the Jones and Adesanya to happen, it needs to happen soon. But I don't foresee it happening soon because he's gonna have to fight Stipe. He's gonna have to fight Ngannou, one or the other, at the very least. Okay, that's going to put more on his age and what have you. Adesanya's going to go back down. He's going to defend his title at least a couple of times. If this is going to happen, it's going to happen very, very soon. That's how I look at it.
Well, we should see what happens with UFC. Great fights coming up. Leon Edwards fights this weekend finally, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens. And of course, UFC 260 March 27th, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. We're looking forward to that one. Looking forward to that one. Well, it's all good. It was a great weekend for UFC and a whole lot of other things.
Hundred percent.
It wasn't such a great weekend though for our very, very good friend VAR. Now, I mean, I've always tried to avoid talking about VAR since we started this show. And as much as VAR has done a lot of wrong, it has actually done some good. It has actually
Yes,
shown some level of the game that we all missed
100.
when it was just based on the naked eye of the ref.
Yep.
However, what this weekend proved to me is that this weekend, and yes, possibly last weekend, is that the reason why the refs get stuff wrong and the reason why VAR, which is still watched by another human being, another ref, is that I've come to the conclusion that these refs probably don't understand the laws. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if you saw the handball against Arsenal. Sorry,
Hmm.
against Burnley, not against Arsenal.
Okay, yeah. In the match, yeah.
Okay, so now if you saw that and you saw what happened in that in that game, did you see that? Did you see the handball?
I saw the handball. I didn't watch the game.
Okay, so from what you saw from the handball, was that a handball or not?
By today's rules, yes. So
Sorry, and
we
what is today's rule?
oh, well, do you know what? It's funny. It's funny you said that because as soon as I said by today's rules, I knew you were going to say that, and I knew. Uh, the thing is, this rule, this VAR rule, is changing every week.
I'll tell you what.
Um,
So the rule is not a VAR rule. The rule is the rule of the law of the game. The rule is
yeah,
the rule is very simple. If a player has his hand in an unnatural position and his hand touches the ball, it is a
mm,
foul. The rule, another rule also states that if if the ball touches the sleeve, because there's a t-shirt law. So if the ball touches his hand but is still within the sleeve, it is not a foul. So now the thing with that game is that it was very clear that the individual, the Burnley defender, Peters, I think, had his hand stretched out in an unnatural position.
hmm
The ball touched his hand below the sleeve. However, VAR didn't even look at that incident for more than
that's what I mean. It don't make no
20,
sense.
20 seconds. And their conclusion that they came to was that it is not clear and obvious because it was subjective in the sense that maybe at the time he had his hand out, the ball hit his hand too quick.
But is
Some
that not what VAR's there for?
That's the whole point. It's called a virtual assistant ref. You're supposed to assist the ref. But I don't
Exactly.
understand. I don't understand what they're doing there. I mean, everybody talks about laws and rules, and referees say this or say that. But clearly, if the VR wasn't put there to have a 50-50 verdict or to make the game okay, oh, one argument against another. They were put there to make the corrections that the ref on the field is not seeing.
But what I don't understand is it only seems because I watch a lot of football around Europe when I get time. Nobody else is having these issues with VAR. Why is it England? Why is it only England that
And
we're having
that's
all these controversial decisions?
and
Did
that's
that
why I started.
exactly that scenario?
That's why I started it by saying if the problem is happening in just England, that means there's a possibility the officials don't understand the laws.
Mhm. I think you're 100% right. That's exactly what it is. Um, but then if that's the case, UEFA need to step in and they need to speak to the referees and they need to let them know what's good. Because in the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, what have you, there's none of these issues. The same situation with Eric Peters and what have you, it's dealt with, it's done. But in England, they don't have a Scooby Doo. No
It,
idea.
it's when it goes for you, it's nice. But then what I
Mm,
what I like to understand is that I mean I support Man United, and the examples
yeah.
I like to give is Man United Arsenal. Bruno Fernandes had a tackle on Xhaka, which in any case should have at least been a card.
Mm.
It wasn't checked, which they should have, and he got away with it. I mean, I was happy. Make no mistake, we didn't lose we didn't lose a man. But then the inconsistency with the VRs and the refs, and when there's a situation, yes, I understand that the ref on the pitch is supposed to give the final decision.
Mm,
So VAR can tell the ref, oh, we think it's a penalty, but look at the screen and you make your decision.
mm,
The ref can look at the screen and he can go, oh, no, I don't think it's a penalty.
mm.
However, why is it that when VAR checks and sometimes we have crappy decisions, the ref never wants to go against the VAR. I don't understand it. So
This is what I don't understand as well. You know, if if they get it wrong upstairs, they get it wrong upstairs. You're allowed to continue and stay with your original decision. You know, at the end of the day, you are the primary referee. It's you. You know, so
yeah, but
if you don't
VAR was
necessarily
put there
agree,
so they don't get it wrong. That's the whole point. It was put there to assist the ref for things he couldn't see. It's actually put there so he doesn't get it wrong at all.
yeah, but unfortunately, sometimes for whatever reason in England, VAR is still getting it wrong. So we call it virtual, but it's still the man who's still getting it wrong upstairs.
So what do you think the solution is?
Bravs, if I knew that, I'd have a job with the FA. I'd be a millionaire. See what I mean? I genuinely have no idea what the solution is here. I mean, we can get UEFA involved to talk to the English referees and what have you. I don't know what else to suggest because, like I said, these issues don't occur across the majority of Europe. It's just here in the UK. So how are we getting it wrong? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how we're gonna get a solution.
Okay. Well, if the people, as you said, are paid millions and all that story are not getting it right, then who are we? Who are we? Yeah, well, let's hope VR doesn't mess up as much. And moving forward, at least for now to the end of the season, they managed to get a lot more things right than wrong.
Bravs, they can mess up as much as they want for the opposition of Aston Villa. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
It's good to know that you're very happy that you finally got into 40 points. So you're safe.
Bravs, I am so happy. I don't care what else happens this season. As far as I think I checked the table the other day, I think we're like 3 points behind the champions, behind Liverpool. We're a couple of points above the likes of Arsenal and all these other teams. Bro, this is jokes. It's jokes out here. So I'm gonna ride this. I'm gonna enjoy the life that Villa are having right now because next season, when the fans are back, we're gonna see what's really going on. This season is a freak season. We've got the likes of West Ham going for Champions League. Champions League. Okay. So let's see next season because this season is a freak season. No fans.
Well, it is all good. It takes me to our next situation, or what one of the things I managed to notice. So loads of things happening, loads of things to talk about. But the question I have is a very, very simple question. What is Tuchel doing that Lampard didn't do? What exactly has he done? Is he a better man manager? Is he a better manager generally? Is it experience? Does he know how to get the best out of the players? Because the players seem to be enjoying themselves on, pretty much doing what he asked them to do. Yeah, he
Yeah,
has
but teams
come in.
teams always have that bounce, don't they? Um, and they're obviously going through this
Why did
little.
they need the bounce in the first place when Frank
This
Lampard
is
was
what
there?
makes no sense, and this is what pisses me off about football players. You know, I genuinely feel sometimes that football players they play piss poor to get the manager out, and I don't understand why they do that. How can you go on such a dreadful run and then week after, we're okay, banging up teams 2-3 nil comfortably, and so it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. It's the same players. The same players. He ain't bought anyone. So how is this happening? It don't make no sense. Now Kai Havertz looks like he's Riquelme from Villarreal. My guy's looking like he's doing serious bits. Like non-Doodoo Lingard. I got to call him non-Doodoo Lingard now at West Ham, right? Because he's doing bits at the moment, right? Chelsea, I don't get it. I don't understand. The style of play isn't that much different. They're still playing the wing-back system. They're chopping and changing between who is it? Alonso and Chilwell. Mount still doing his same thing. There's no real difference. There's no real difference here. I don't understand.
Well, there's no main difference with the players, but we're sticking to the managers. What do you think Tuchel is doing that Frank Lampard didn't do? Yes, and I know it's early days. I know it's just been 11 games, blah blah blah. But what do you think?
Tuchel is known for his man management. Okay, he's known for his man management. He's very similar to the Klopp style in the, you know, not for people to see, but the hug and I'm going to pull you to one side and chat to you. He's known for doing that at Dortmund. He did it many times with many players, and I'm sure he's doing exactly the same thing at Chelsea. However, Lampard was known for his man management as well. Lampard was known for giving the youngsters a chance. Tuchel is known for giving the youngsters a chance. There's not much difference between their mindsets, in all honesty. Now, I would say that Tuchel is a little bit more animated on the bench, 100%. He wants to kick every single ball. But regarding the mindset of man management, there's not much difference. So that's why I'm a bit confused as to why they're responding more at the moment to Tuchel compared to Lampard two months ago. I'm very very confused by it.
Well,
What do you think?
for starters, I think that I feel Tuchel before every game explains to each and every player exactly why they are playing and the tactics
Hmm.
he's using. The reason I say this is so he played Chilwell against Liverpool, and I think he played
Hmm.
Chilwell against Man United.
Okay.
And he probably explained to Chilwell, the reason I'm playing you is probably because these guys have pace, they have counter attack, you're faster than Alonso, you're probably better
Yeah.
defender. But when we play other teams that we need to score, Alonso probably goes forward. And I think that he explains that because he has chopped and changed his team. You have seen the likes of Rudiger come in, Christensen come in. What's his name? Christensen? Oh, God, I can't remember.
Yeah. Christensen. Yeah.
Christensen. Thiago was injured, but he was on the bench yesterday or at the weekend. And I think he has made the players buy into the idea that look, some of you will start all the time and some of you wouldn't. I will pick and
Hmm.
choose the players I think are wonderful for a particular game.
Yeah.
Other than that, he pretty much knows the team that will be out there for each match. So they know as well. And they've bought into the idea because it's working. So
Hmm.
far, everything is working. Players are playing a particular place. He clearly loves Hudson Odoi because he likes pace at the wing.
Yes.
So
100%.
I think there's a clear picture as exactly the players know. Look, this is what we're going to do for the next couple of games. Now with
Hmm.
Frank, I don't think Frank had that. I think Frank was chopping and changing, and he wasn't. The players were not seeing. They were not seeing as the bigger picture like he was probably. But
Hmm.
I think with Tuchel, he shows them the picture. This is what we need to do at a particular point. This is what we're going to do, and possibly taking it a game at a time. That's what I think. That's to me. That's the only difference I can see. He has
Hmm.
come in and he has, maybe he's a bit more, as you say, man management. He says, oh look, you're not playing next week. The reason you're not playing next week is this and that. However, maybe in 2 weeks' time you possibly play. That's what I think he does. So the players
So
have
you
a
don't think
clear
Lampard was
picture.
doing the same thing?
I don't think so because they would have been able to buy into the same idea. Maybe Frank Lampard was doing it for certain players, or maybe he was using the approach of, yeah, look, it's my way, or trying hard to make force things happen. There'll be games that he clearly needed maybe to take Timo Werner out. He left him in. I'm just speculating here because that's what I can tell. The only difference I can tell is the players seem to be more comfortable with Tuchel
Hmm.
because they seem like they know exactly what's going to happen and what they need to do. But I don't think
Hmm.
with Frank, I don't think they did. Or at least they lost it after some time. They didn't know exactly what was happening.
But then, how do we explain how they got into the Champions League the season before? They seem to be singing on all cylinders. They seem to be on his hymn sheet. Like,
Yeah. So
how do we explain that?
and that thing with that is, so he came in and he knew he had a set of players for a year. He wasn't going to get anybody new.
Hmm.
He knew
Yeah.
exactly. So he had a more consistent team. Then, then the window opens up for him. He decides to start buying other players. If you notice, the likes of the players he bought for some reason couldn't hit the ground running. So the Werners, the Havertz, the Algerian kid, what's his name? He
Ziyech.
Zayed. I think Zayed was injured initially. He was injured initially. Then there was a talk of he's injured, but he's playing for his country and he's not playing for Chelsea.
Mm,
So the players he bought took some time to, you know, to get used to the Premier League. Then he gave them some time, and by the time they started, because they went for a period where they had like 12 to 15 games unbeaten. So they clearly knew
mm,
what
mm,
they were doing. But then for some reason, the likes of his defenders started looking like they had heavy legs. They couldn't chase strikers. They were not scoring goals. Um, 1 minute, Tammy Abraham starts. The other minute, you know, Giroud starts. To be fair, when Frank Lampard was sacked, Chelsea were not doing well, but they were not in a bad spot. And they had won their last 3 games before, I think, before they sacked him. But
mm.
with Tuchel, they just look like, oh, we know exactly. It looks like Chelsea, they know what they're going to do in the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's as if they've already planned out their games and the players already know, okay, I know what I need to do this. That's how it seems to me. That's the only reason. But it'd be good to know what he's doing, particularly that Frank Lampard didn't do.
Well, unless we're in the dressing room, we're not going to necessarily find out. But I still feel the likes of Kai Havertz and Werner were not his buys. Um, I genuinely don't feel like they were his sort of players that he wanted to bring in. Um, and when they both came in, I don't think he knew what to do with them. To be honest with you, I don't think he knew. And they're both classy players. Don't get me wrong. One is arguably more explosive than the other, but uh, you need to. Uh, I don't know. I feel like that role came way too early for him. The same with the Arteta situation at Arsenal. I think it's way too early for him as well. And he got found out, and they didn't want to play for him anymore. And then miraculously they were fine again with Tuchel. But that's football players, isn't it?
Well, it's all good. It's all good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you this week. Next week, we'll be back with the lads, Big Steve and Mike N. Till then, loads of sports to look forward to: Champions League, Europa League, and of course, back to the weekend where we have loads of American sports, the basketball, the ice hockeys, UFC. Anything you want, people, it is out there for you to find. Well,
100%.
at the moment, Dwayne, hope you get better or feel better with time.
Cheers, bro.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, check out Dwayne P. Frank on YouTube for his prediction show. And of course, you can keep in tabs with me on Instagram and of course YouTube at MC underscore Sabi underscore BOI. Ladies and gentlemen, it is goodbye from me and goodbye from.
MP Frank. See you
All
later.
right, see you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Uh-huh.